It seems like we made it. The technology of the year 2021 has worked. This is No Timeout, which is inspired by the German podcast Alles gesagt, which basically means enough said. On my side is nobody else than the wonderful Emil, and Emil Sandgren is my best I always end up Finnish. Like everything I try to say in Swedish, it ends up in Finnish. I don't know why.
All right. That was a good pronunciation. I would say Sandgren in Swedish, but I like the way you said it.
Yeah, the thing is, every time I imagine that there is something from the Scandinavic part, it always ends me up with being Finnish, while Finland doesn't even count to Scandinavia, if I'm not totally wrong. So, I don't know. It's just basically due to the fact that I'm so in love with Kimi Räikkönen from Formula, but this is a different thing.
Oh, okay.
That's a different thing. We are obviously right now having a different conversation, and this is No Timeout, which works this way. Emil is going to give me a word which basically ends this broadcast. So whatever is coming in your mind, whatever you say, I think this is the point in time where I want to end this. This is the point in time where I have to do something, my house is on fire, or you just don't want to keep on talking. You say a specific word, which means this word should be so specific that at the end of the day, you don't just randomly use it.
It's hard. Like, could it be a sentence? Like FPX is gonna win? Like, unlikely. Maybe I can say that.
Is it no watching or what's happening?
I don't know if it's watching. It's probably asleep.
Yeah, I imagine.
What should be a good word?
I don't know.
What comes to my mind? Maybe
take your time. We have no stress.
Has to be something I won't say. So it can't be something about VALORANT, because maybe I say everything about VALORANT and we end in 10 minutes.
Exactly. Think wisely. Choose wisely.
Could it be a phrase?
If it's not too long. Because I have to write it on stream. So if you tell me that you use something that is not too long, I'm cool with it. But if you are about to use something that is taken, I don't know, 10 words, then we might have a problem.
All right. We could do... it's always been so difficult. Because when you ask me, think of a word, I'm like, I had a bunch of words 10 minutes ago, but now they're gone.
So, it's all down to you, Emil.
We could do banana split.
Banana split. Okay, definitely one. Let me put that in the right kind of direction. Yeah, that's working. If, by the way, anyone in the stream has a little bit of sound issues, let me know. The thing is, right, what you also see underneath ML is 3 M cards. Those M cards are mute cards, which means if there is something he thinks I should know in the sense that I have a context for things, then he's going to tell me, but you are not going to hear him. So he's going to be muted to you, which is the great thing. And at that point in time, it doesn't matter anymore. We're starting off anyway. I would like to know the following thing. I have written it down and I already forgot it. Great. This is an awesome start, Emil. It was a good one because I love... You need to see, I'm somebody who loves having stupid questions. Really, really stupid questions. So I'd like to know from you, would you rather be, for a day, just for a day, a land, sea, or bird dinosaur?
Oh, bird, for sure.
Yes?
Yeah, obviously, like, everyone wants to fly, right? And imagine being a bird flying around looking at different dinosaurs. If you live in a dinosaur era, you know?
Of course, that's the idea. So you live millions of years ago, the meteorite hasn't started going down on the Earth. But why not a T-Rex or something?
Because, alright, if you were a T-Rex, you have to be kind of, you have to fight, you have to hunt, I guess you have to as a bird as well, but you have to fight, you have to hunt, you have tiny arms.
True, big issue.
You know, you live at one place. If you're a bird, for us, you know, coaches, you know, you have an overview of the world. You can move, you can, I guess, eat seeds and still hunt. I mean, possibilities are endless with a bird compared to a T-Rex.
The only thing I'd ask myself, how would it be to be one of those massive plant-eating dinosaurs? You know, those ones that don't even get attacked because you can't take them down. That's the only thing that I would like to... I don't know their name, though. This is my issue.
I mean, with long necks,
Yeah,
like
with the
eating
long.
the treetops.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm. I mean, yeah, sure. Life of just eating trees all day. Sounds nice.
I mean, this is what we humans became to some degree now, as well, to some degree. Either way, I have to know the first thing I need to know, because I was looking through your biography or whatever is, you know, remaining public to some degree, and you know that you have a brother that's working Valorant as well. That's a nice thing, right? But how insanely mad was your family when they found out that both of you were born on Christmas Day?
Oh,
How, like,
I mean, okay, so me and my brother were kind of early. I don't think they expected us to be born around Christmas at all. I think we were a little bit more than 3 weeks early, actually. Um,
okay.
So yeah, it wasn't, you know, planned of us, you know, coming out at Christmas. And you know, people say, "Oh, your birthday is at Christmas. It's the best birthday gift ever you could
No,
give to your mom."
no.
I don't think she was happy giving birth to twins on Christmas. So
Specifically twins.
yeah, so I don't know about that.
That's the thing, because always as a child, you know, kids have this kind of idea of, if I'm born in June and I have Christmas, I have two exactly same time periods where I get presents every 6 months. Like, how is it as a child when both of the present heavy days land on one? It must be like, there must be something where you get less just because it's on the same day.
I mean, yeah. As a kid, I never really thought about it, you know, because people always come up like, "Oh, it must suck having your birthday on Christmas," you know. They're coming up to me like, "Oh, I feel so bad for you." But for me, it was like, you know, around Christmas time is Christmas, it's your birthday, it's a New Year. I'm like, oh, I'm so happy anyways during that time. Like, I didn't affect me. But as an adult, I can see that I've lost presents, you know, that I could get. Technically, you know, I could invest those presents, and I don't know. It's but I think it didn't matter to me at all. It's a drawback, but
you gotta live with that.
yeah, you can't even celebrate it with your friends technically on your birthday.
Right. So did you ever have birthday parties, like, or did you always set them a little later, like a week or two later?
Always earlier.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But I stopped having birthday parties quite young because nobody really likes to celebrate your birthday like a month early.
Yeah.
And nobody likes to celebrate it like a week early because everyone's like traveling or doing something around Christmas. So we just stopped really celebrating our birthdays.
Oh, okay.
So
because
yeah.
because I always thought, like, when, at least in, I don't know how it's in Sweden, but like, I think in the most of the Western world, when you celebrate your birthday earlier, it's seen as bad luck or something, right? So
Oh, men have tons of bad luck.
I mean, this is what I know. This is what, I don't know if it's different for you and if you never heard about it, but I'm somewhat sure that people were always, oh, you celebrate your birthday too early, oh, it's gonna be bringing some bad luck. So I don't know. It's just something that came to me. But I also was born too early, because the matter of fact is, when I was, I don't know, in that wump, 8 months or something, my mother started to sneeze, which is, I think, perfectly human thing to do. But at the same time, she broke her rib doing that, which then left the doctors cautious if I'm gonna be, you know, having a problem with getting air, you know, oxygen. So I came a little earlier than, I think, 4 days. It's not
Okay.
not with you, not the same way. But you know, like, who would that? It's already a cruel thing that I've done that initially, but I didn't mean to. Which then leads me to the question: what is the most memorable Christmas present you can think about?
Oh, all right. Well, since I asked, when you said that question, I thought about something. I have to say it, even though it
Go.
might not be the, you know, best one I ever got. Like, I've gotten very good presents from my family and appreciate all of them. But when I was a little kid, I got this kind of toy crane.
Yeah.
That could lift things.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when you asked me that question, I thought about that crane. So a stupid toy crane I could play with.
Because
I don't know why.
But what did you lift? Did you was it just some containers that came with it, or a construction thing?
I don't remember. I think I was 5 years old. Me and my brother got the crane and we played with it, and it somehow we didn't have it for a long time. So maybe we broke it. I don't know. Such a long time ago. It's yeah.
Did you share? Did you like share presents? Or
Of course, yeah. Of course. I mean, we get presents separately, but
okay.
like me and my brother, to this date right now, we share a YouTube account. We share passwords. We still share a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Like that nobody else share. Like I use his Facebook account for some of my stuff, and he uses my Facebook account. So it's still like we share a lot of things.
I just noticed the last time I played a Coach Royale, which was horribly on Breeze. Freaking hate it. Someone said, do you and your brother listen to the same song right now? And now they said, no, we share Spotify accounts.
Yeah.
that was a little hilarious because I didn't think like I think I don't share accounts with any. I'm a single child, right? So I don't have any further siblings, which leads to obviously no sharing. At one point, you have to learn it. I think I'm still okay. I don't know if I'm. How do you identify if you're good with sharing, actually?
I don't know. I mean, for me and my brother, we shared the same computer. All our, like, growing up, we only had one computer. Even we started playing esports, like when we played 1.6, stuff like this, right? We still had one computer. If we had to play both of us, we had to go to internet cafe and play. So we have shared everything all our life almost. So super tight. Like some twins, they go off like different schools, different. The parents like separate them, right? But I don't know. We lived with our mom. Like she's been a single mom when we grew up. So she thought, keeping us together is probably a good idea. Obviously. So we've been like going to the same schools, the same high school, same universities, and the same job. But now esports the same.
Obviously, same game.
Yeah, so we're very tight. Yeah.
But your brother, I think I'm not quite sure if I interviewed him. I asked him. He was never professional in Overwatch. He tried to. I think he was trying to be good at it. Don't get me. No offense to him. He was trying to get good at it, but he was only like learning from you or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. He's so when we went to university, we kind of started Overwatch at the same time in the same team. My first ever team was with him, but he has tinnitus, and it makes it hard for him to kind of focus and play for a long time. That's required to be a like pro player. You know, you have to sit and play for 10 hours with listening to sound, and it's just not possible for him back then to do it. I think he can easily do it now, but just back then when he got it, it was really hard for him to do it. So I kind of just kept going, and he slowed down a little break. So I got little, push from that. But I feel like I've always been better mechanically than him at games. Like we play CS, stuff like this, right? I always were a little bit higher skill level than him in CSGO, like more competing against better players. And he's always been like the analytical guy, like coach type of thing. Even though he wasn't a coach, he was always like, okay, I'm gonna be the one taking care of everything. So he's always been that type of style for him. And I've been more like a player. I played a lot, so yeah, it's different backgrounds.
That gets me to the question, which obviously from a coach perspective is very interesting. Do you believe in the idea of talent, that talent exists, something given by a power or force that we cannot understand or imagine? Or do you think it's always something coming down to a combination of luck and practice?
Oh, so first of all, I think that talent is I don't like the word, but I think talent exists. I think it's more like it's easier for you to do something, right, than for other people. It has to become natural for you. And I just want to say, like, I saw a discussion with this on Twitter about talent or hard work, and it's controversial. Like, just like people say, oh, talent doesn't matter, it's just hard work, blah blah blah. It's talent doesn't exist. But I in my mind, what I think is you can't teach talent.
Yeah,
You can't teach someone to have. I saw the same argument actually on Twitter with aim. Like, what is important in a player? Is it like aim, or is it like communication and teamwork? What do you look at when you pick someone up, and what can you teach? And a lot of people seem like, oh, you can't teach good teamwork and communication, but someone can practice for aim and get good at that. I'm completely opposite. I'm like, if you have talent, talent is often in the aim and mechanics department. If you're a talented kid, normally you've been playing games, you haven't been spending time with friends, you're gonna be kind of awkward. You're not gonna have great communication or teamwork if you're talented, in my experience. I always say you can't teach talent and good aim, but you can teach teamwork and good communication. That's much easier than teaching someone, hey, let's be natural at aiming and killing. It's impossible. People just have to have it, and then, like, I can't, if I work with you, right, I can't teach you how to aim like JD,
of course,
for example.
It's impossible.
But I can teach you how to communicate and how to read the game like a professional. For sure, you could reach that fairly quickly. So that's kind of my point. That's where the talent part comes in. But obviously, you have to have hard work and work 10 hours a day, obviously. But it's just what I think.
I just don't think that, because there's one thing that, obviously this is something that's also somewhat relevant to talk about, but I don't believe in the concept of fate or fortune. I believe in the concept of randomness. So everything we do is random. If I don't know, get hit by a bus today, it's not because I've done something bad in life. It's because I randomly got hit by a bus. I maybe just didn't look left and right. In 9 out of 10 occasions, I survive because there's no car coming around, but suddenly there's a bus coming around and I die. So I think randomness is the first thing, and therefore I think talent also doesn't exist. Because when we talk about individuals being talented, I think you have to go back how children approach things and what they learn. So for example, there are people who are really good at conversations, really good at talking, have friendly, deliver a friendly atmosphere. And this doesn't come because they've learned it. This comes because of their early childhood influence, mainly parents. So I do believe that when someone is mechanically blessed, as some say, he is not mechanically blessed. He had better start conditions than others. He had, just for example, someone who had a PC when he was already 4 years old, I would say has a higher tendency, if he continues to play on a regular basis, to be a better player than someone who starts to have a PC at 16, right? Surely the other one can compensate. He can come close. But even maybe something that, like moving a mouse, if a similar movement has been done your entire life and you start touching a mouse, then I do believe that you are mechanically skilled in moving your hand and hand-eye coordination, even though you have not played a game before. So I do not believe in that. I never think talent exists. Nobody is randomly good. This is a thing.
Yeah, I can agree with you with upbringing. Like, for example, in my experience with myself and a lot of people, if you play sports as a little kid, like 5, 6, 7, 8, like had this influence of some sort of competition, right? Some sort of sport. Usually, you're much better at games and esports in general.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have that background. Like I had that. Chihuahua has it. A lot of people have it. For some reason, it makes people really good at this. Doesn't have to be, but I'm just saying, like, I agree with you in that sense, where people who are kind of lucky that the parents put them in the right kind of direction, we're gonna have a much easier time. Total unrelated, like I see it in my brain. It works like this. If you're good at something mechanically,
Yeah.
it's like when you're good at if you're playing football, like European football, not American football,
Of course.
right? Soccer, whatever. And if you're good at tricksing the ball, then you're good at aiming in CS.
I see what you mean. Yeah, absolutely. Because the
Yeah,
coordination
and you're
comes
good
in.
at and you're good at driving a car. Like I see it as I have friends, I have know people, and usually if they're good at tricksing a football or good at playing games, they get their driver's license at their first try. But if they're not, it takes them 10 tries to get it. And there's something with hand-eye coordination
Absolutely.
that's for some people, and it's probably an upbringing. But I know people that have played, football or other sports and have that upbringing, but still they just can't do it. They can't aim. And I agree with you that I don't think like talent. You're never born with anything like born a CS god and like
Yeah.
all of a sudden like you're global elite when you're 1 year old. It's not gonna happen, right? But I do think that like in life, it's some people just have an easier time learning. I won't say it's talent, but it's easier time learning, easier time understanding than others. I think that's the big part for me, at least.
Right, but then I still don't think it's talent. I think then it really still comes down to maybe your parents teaching you to do that, or you're having your first kind of connection with something that helped you doing so.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, the thing I imagine is that if you, for example, today randomly meet a sports psychologist, fully randomly, and he's giving you this method that helps you to approach your players better. You didn't actively look for it, but you suddenly just bumped into it, and this is boosting your team in your own career. Then I would say it's still random. It's luck. It has been somewhat lucky. People can enforce luck by, for example, I'm Googling sports psychologist methods, and that obviously enforces you and gets you closer to it. But yeah, I do believe, for example, that this is something that can be brought closer if you look for it, but you still need luck. There's no way around it.
But I have to then, to my point, is like if you say it's random, it's upbringing, right? When finally they land at my doorstep, they want to try out whatever they want. I can't teach that. The whole upbringing, the whole thing. That's
sure.
Kind of, but it's you can call it. I think people call it talent. People call it random. People call it whatever they want, right? But once I get them at my doorstep, right, as a coach, there's no way I can teach 20 years of upbringing that has to be right for them to be able to be good at the game to begin with as a baseline.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big important thing for me. Is like I really can't teach you to be a number one player unless you have all of that you talked about already. Because we're not gonna go through 10 years of
exactly.
anything together. So it's I agree with you on that. Like you can call it random. I don't like saying random because when my players die, they say, "Oh, it's just lucky. It's random." But I hate saying luck. We blame it on like. So I don't like that word, but I do agree with you. It's a lot about the upbringing and everything like that, for sure.
I think in esports specifically, there is a minimal degree of luck and bad luck in outside conditions. Like, for example, if it starts to rain on your football field, that's bad luck. You can't control the weather. There's no way you can control the weather, and you have to play with a damper field or something. But I think that it's just in esports not the case. If you are specifically in your home where you can set yourself up comfortably, LAN is maybe then a different thing. Where, for example, someone like JD, who comes from Russia, and I don't know where from exactly, but he's probably living in a colder part. If he then ends up in the summer heat of Brazil, the man might be just having the same setup, but he struggles due to the heat, for example, right? It's once more something that could be, doesn't have to be the case. And therefore, I think it's somewhat luck. But on a different thing, because you mentioned it, upbringing and such, a thing that has always worried me when we take a look at esports and specifically CS, or even I think Fortnite is even a better example. Those kids that turn pro are younger and younger and younger. And this is where I'm sometimes just a little worried that people say you're missing out on your best years. I don't think that is the case if you make a professional career. But I think, especially as a child, and this is an unprofessional, non-psychological opinion or psychologist opinion, finding social connections at that age is crucial to then work in a team.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So
I don't know. You mentioned something is interesting about the age you should start.
Yeah.
It's an interesting topic to talk about. When is it appropriate to learn a kid how to be, esports player, sport player, or violin player? Some parents found out, let's learn the kid to be a violin player when they're like 2 years old, and then they grow up when they're 10 and they're like the best in the world. Is that right?
Yeah.
You remove being a normal kid, friends, all of this, and it's gonna be the same with esports. Let's say esports is globally the biggest thing in 100 years. What if it's the biggest thing? Will people force their kids to be at the computer at age 2 and have no connection to life or people? Like, I think what I think with that is, as gamers, pro players, right now in this age, because it wasn't that huge 20 years ago when I was fucking 2 years old, right?
Yeah.
We are gamers because we didn't like normal life. Like, we didn't get along, we didn't fit in with the class most of the time, so we sat in playing computer games back then. Like, I can guarantee a lot of the players, like, they could see themselves as outcasts. Not everyone, obviously,
I
but
get what you mean.
a lot of gamers come from that background. Like, oh, you're a gamer, you maybe don't fit into the class, you don't go smoking, you're 15 with the cool kids. Like, you're not like that, right? So I think a lot of gamers now, a lot of pro players, come from that awkward kind of, if you meet them in real life, they can be kind of awkward, they can be weird, maybe. I think that's gonna change in 50 years when esports is cool. I don't know. It is cool now, but I mean, it's changing. But I don't know. So much to discuss.
I'm with you. No, I'm fully with you on that. This is something that in the past is a thing, which I'm very thankful about, that people has changed in that direction, due to the fact that, we start to accept it. Though I'm not quite sure. The only issue I have is if at esport is actually sport. Because I'm still not 100% convinced of it. I'm convinced, for example, I'm also not convinced that chess is sport. Chess is not sport to me. But this is obviously because there is no general definition of sports. Because what is sport? Is you jogging a sport without any competition behind it? Or is you running a marathon with trying to be the best in actual sport? Right? When I say I go do some sports now, if I do 50 sit-ups, I still don't do a competition. I do it for myself. And this is, I think, also where a little bit of an issue comes in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different genres of, like, things. I don't know. It's hard to... obviously, you can compare, and people want esports to be sports. It's in the name, esports, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I think what we're doing is so much different from, let's say, like... jumping far or like all of this stuff, like the Olympic Games, for example. It's so different, just how it's played. I would still call this a sport. It's just the definition, like the language, is really not there yet to, like, maybe, I don't know. Like, I would like for esports to be a sport, to be more mainstream. Like, the Olympic Games got 2,000 years to grow. We've only had 20 years, so give us another 1,000 years, and maybe we'll take it over.
I don't believe that it will be taking over football. I never see that happening.
No, it won't. It will. People love football, but it's more. In Sweden and in other countries, you can go to, like, football high school. You can get this financial support all the way down to the ground level of tier 10 in football. You can play in a really bad team in Sweden and still earn a living. But in VALORANT, you're tier 2. You're like, oh, where's, like, you have to grow potatoes outside. So
that's a very valid point, and I think it will just remain that way in a long time. I also don't think the VALORANT ecosystem is there where is going to be in 10 years. I mean, I think the best example is always to compare it to CS, where I think in the last 1 to 2 years, we saw tier 2 and tier 3 finally get tournaments that could, let them earn those HLTV ranking points. That lets them, take regular prize money if they do good. This is something that I really enjoy. I just don't know if it's going to happen long term with the way Riot approaches things. I don't, at the end, care to some degree, though I think the grassroots is something that, has to be worked on. But everybody was coming in like, yeah, this is going to be a big esports. But look how long CS take at the same time. This is always what you always have to think about, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I have trust in Riot. I saw what they've done with League of Legends. I really trust Riot Games. It's just people have to have expectation of it's not gonna be right now. It's not maybe gonna be in a year, but just give it some time. Like you saw how it was with League in the beginning or CS:GO in the beginning.
Yeah.
It takes time. Even Overwatch, it's 1 year for a game to exist is a very short amount of time.
Insanely for an esport specifically.
Yeah, so people expect big things. People want viewership to be insanely high and every rule to be right, but you never get everything right the first time or even the second time. It has to be iterations.
No, this is absolutely true. Coming back to what you said, which I found so interesting. I think 4 or 6 weeks ago, I talked to Tricked. I don't know if you know Tricked, at least from CS, Danish team, and they have started a school initiative. So the Danes are really far ahead of everything, as always. And they started to have, I think, 5, 6, 7 partner schools where they start to recruit players. So they have esports classes. Those have video game classes, sort of. And this is just not, playing around. This is actually being under supervision of an adult who has, knowledge in the game. And I think Denmark has more than 100 people that could do that. And then Tricked is picking up the best under 16 and under 19 players and form teams with them. So that's actually really impressive. This is already one of those projects where I'm like, those fucking Danes are 10 years ahead of everything again. But quickly about a different thing. You mentioned that you did sports in the past. What kind of sport did you do?
I did football.
Classic.
Yeah, classic. When I was 5 years old with my brother, my mom signed us up to play football, and we played for 5-6 years actually. So that's before we started. Like as soon as we ended our playing football, we started playing computer games. And I think we got our competitive kind of mindset and spirit from the football from really early age, and also being twins, we're competitive with each other, right? So but I think we really got into the right path, like we discussed before, from this decision from our mom putting us in some sort of sport when we were small.
Yeah,
I think it's really important.
No, I get what you mean. Absolutely, it absolutely makes sense to. I mean, kids not doing sports is always a little bit of a weird thing. Like I never did soccer. I did field hockey and tennis, but it doesn't matter. You always do a sport as a kid. You dislike it and you like it. But then going further in time, you said you and your brother also, I think, left home when you went studying, right? Did you both study the same thing again?
Yeah, so
Come on.
after high school, we went to the same high school, same class, everything, right?
Yeah.
And then we both so we both searched into university physics, theoretical physics, because we wanted to be scientists. I love science, and physics. Yeah, and we're both sitting at we had a big classroom, right? And at the top of the class, right at the top of the ceiling, there's only 2 seats. It was me, my brother, some coffee and cookies, and not listening to the class because it was too hard for us. So we sat there for half a year, didn't understand anything, and we both dropped out.
Okay.
So that was our first experience with university together.
But this goes on. Did you study something else then?
Yeah. It's in Sweden, it's free to study. You even get money to study, right? So
same.
It's
sort of.
Yeah. So after that, we're like, okay, we played some esports at the time, like CS:GO, and we both decided, okay, we're gonna do some programming instead. So we both went to become system developers. And we
Okay.
both studied that for 1.5 years, actually. So we got like halfway through our education.
Yeah.
Went super great, loved it. But just I was playing esports at the same time, like I was doing Overwatch.
Yeah.
And he was having some troubles with his tinnitus, and I just felt like it became too much to do both of them at the same time. So stupidly enough, and I regret doing this, but I was younger. It was it 6 years ago or something like this. I jumped off, and he did at the same time. So we both jumped off at the exact same time, and went to work instead. So, it's stupid. Like if you're together for this long as twins, right?
Yeah.
And let's say he jumps off because he needs a break. Stuff happening, mental break, whatever. I felt like I can't be here because I was kind of relying on him to do like homework with, study with, everything with, right? And if he's gone, I'm not gonna be able to make this. And I felt really scared. Like, oh, he's gonna jump off. Am I gonna go drive to the school myself? Am I gonna do everything myself? Am I gonna have a life of my own?
Yeah.
Ooh, scary,
Yeah.
life of my own.
That's
And
interesting.
and then I just felt like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm scared. I'm gonna jump off with him as well. Stupid decision, but you learn from it, right?
Yeah, of course. How old were you?
21 or something like that.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's not
still
super
young.
young.
Yeah.
But it's a stupid decision. But I made it, and then we went to work because we worked at the graveyard during summers,
Yeah.
and after that we went to work at the graveyard, like together, different graveyards a little bit. So I worked at the graveyard and did esports, and then I did that at the same time for a couple of years.
So because I'm looking it up, because I don't know anything about Overwatch, I'll be honest with you. I had to look it up. So you officially started. The only real orc that I know from the ones you've played or from the early ones was obviously Red Reserve, which was one of the bigger ones back in the day. So was that also the point in time where you were able to like earn money off of it, or was that?
No, like
Okay.
I've never had a family with a lot of money. Like we grew up with a single mom our whole life, right? We have a really tiny family, and we never had a lot of money at all. Like almost like lower class, can't afford vacations or anything like that, right? That's kind of a background I'm coming from. So I couldn't, like, if this org will give me like a lower salary, like I have to pay rent, I have to pay the car, I have to survive, right? Because without that, I'm on the streets.
Right.
So for me, it was like I just can't, unless it's like a real good salary with I can stay. I couldn't just leave work. It will be really hard for me because I have no safety net in life.
Yeah.
Same with my brother. Like I work, this is what I have. Without it, there's nothing, right? I know some kids have better, they can do stuff, but I haven't really had the same fortune to do that. So still had to work, unfortunately.
No, I understand that, because due to the fact you came from university, you came, I guess, back home together with you and your brother moved back into the apartment with your mother, I imagine. But at one point, legit, I don't know too much about Overwatch. I just only see approximate total earnings, which I don't know if it's always right or wrong. But at one point, I guess Angry Titans was the team which was paying a salary. I don't know.
Yeah. So, well, I can say I'm looking at my little history here now.
I see it on Wikipedia.
And there's a lot of teams.
Yeah.
So I think the first time I started earning actual salary was Gale Force esports.
Is that that's the one that is in the US. Yeah, okay.
And if you see that team, all of them made into the Overwatch League in like the Houston Outlaws, except for me because I was the only Swede. All of them are like North Americans. Yeah, and I was the only Swede, like playing DPS for them. So when they were going and we're gonna be picked up by like Optic and went into Houston Outlaws, I couldn't come because they wanted to have American team back then. So that's kind of the first time I started making money, and I actually left work for that to just pursue it full time because it was an American team, which means I start playing at like 9 to 6 in the morning, and you know I can't work a normal job. But when that ended, went back to work right away. So it's kind of been on and off. Like I earn money. I'm like this. Oh, I'm gonna start my dream. Let's go. And then something happens. Like okay, go back to work.
That's the horrible thing about esports. But I mean, that's I guess in every competitive sport, that's the way. The only difference is like if you lose your place at football, you most likely will be dropped in a team that's maybe gives you less, but you still earn money off of it. So from that point on, it went to Angry Titans, which is the only one I genuinely know because it's from Germany and it's Take TV.
Yeah.
And then, if I recall it correctly, you ended your career, as it says here, in March, because then VALORANT was, I think, about to come out. And you started your coaching at FABRIKEN. So what actually made you feel... Like, I remember, I think there was a tweet of you where at one point you stopped working at the graveyard entirely. I think it was maybe the change from... in summer of 2020, I think, where you wrote that. And you said, I will stop working at the graveyard shift. And... well, literally. And what made you so secure that that thing of VALORANT would work out?
I mean, okay. So first of all, like when you talked about Angry Titans, so that's like the first time I was living in Germany with them for I think 3 months or.
In Krefeld?
Yeah.
Horrible.
I know.
So
I have so many stories.
Disgusting.
Oh, I had to go to the gym, and it was like always dog poop every 2 meters. And like, oh.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have a lot of stories, but I was there and we won the European Championship, like the best thing. Yeah, exactly. And that kind of boosted my career into. I moved from Angry Titans to Gladiators Legion, so it's like a Overwatch League B team. So it's an Overwatch League team, but they own like a B team in contenders in North America.
I see it, yeah.
So I actually moved to Las Vegas and lived there and played from Vegas for a whole, I think it was 4 months or 3 months. I can't remember.
Okay.
So that was kind of my background. I was like, oh, I'm in Vegas. Finally, I made it and I can play. I live in a big gaming house with a pool.
Very nice.
Everything is great.
Yeah.
And then Riot Games, I say, Blizzard decided that they're going to put less money into the Tier 2 scene, and that prompted all of these academy teams to drop everyone. So like everyone who played in like contenders and earned a living from it got just wiped, gone, and moved home. You know, I was like a little bit bummed out, and I felt like okay, it's getting less and less support. Maybe I just don't want to stay. You know, I tried to join an unsigned team or let's go, you know, because I didn't want to accept it in my head, playing Overwatch for 4 years. But just had to let it go. Like VALORANT was coming out, and I thought myself like I have a CS background, I have really good aim. I'm gonna start in VALORANT. I'm gonna play.
Okay.
So I played in the beginning, right? And to your actual question with a tweet, I realized myself that even when I was playing Overwatch and now playing VALORANT, I did not play outside of scrims. I did not put down the same amount of time as everybody else. I couldn't find enjoyment in playing competitive or you know, improve my aim, stuff like this. I only liked the team game, you know, the practice. And sure, it's good to like practice, but if you as a player ever just play and practice, it's over.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's just how it is. Like, if you want to be the best, then go be the best. Play 12 hours a day,
That's
play
funny.
outside, you know.
Because I'm 99.99% sure that Cole Dementa in an interview 1 or 2 months ago said that he just started playing matchmaking. Like, I think he said that he was only paying attention as an IGL, obviously. paying
Yeah.
attention to like the team's development and like how do I learn more, probably watching a lot of VODs. And that's then interesting because I think matchmaking is never Valorant. Like it is not the same. It's like those are pugs and that is an actual official. But getting back to that tweet, wasn't that tweet officially about? But that was about Valorant, wasn't it?
No, I don't remember. I'm an old man now. Let's see.
Let's see. Twitter, Emil Ove.
That's so many tweets, actually. You won't find it.
No. If I Google it. Ah, no, that's wrong. Oh, I don't think I will find some. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Unlucky for me. Anyway, getting to that, what made you so confident about Valorant? Like, you know, you came in as a coach, as you said. Yeah, I think you initially came in as a coach. I remember that.
Yeah.
And obviously not as a player, as you mechanically might have been able to. Did you even start Valorant and see, oh, I have a lot of fun, I will play matchmaking? Or you're like, it's just not my cup of tea?
I played it in the beta and I had a lot of fun, but I just like I was fooling myself. You know, you don't want to realize, you don't want to accept, because I've been playing since I was a little kid. And do I want to put my career on the shelf? Because once you say you're gonna become a coach, once you make a step, like you go for it 100%. Yeah, there's no way back. Like I'm not like that. I don't wanna. I see people go from coach to player, whatever. If I do something, it's like 110%.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about being a coach for a longer time, like a year before actually. But I just have fooled myself. Like kept going. Like I wasn't true to myself and honest.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when I officially left Overwatch, I was like, it was a big step in my life, and now maybe I can be more honest and think about stuff. And then I made a decision. Okay, I'm gonna coach as well, because honestly, I'm not gonna play like all the other kids are gonna do. And if I'm not gonna do that, how am I gonna be the best Valorant player in 2 years?
True.
It's not gonna happen. Like I don't want to be some, you know, top 2000 player. You know, I don't want to be in a B team somewhere. I want to be the best. I want to win. I want to be, you know, that's how I am. And I want to achieve that as a player. And I'm older. I have coached before. I know how to, you know, talk and teach people. It's like I'm good at that.
Mm-hmm.
So why not just try it with FABRIKEN? See how it goes.
We will go on to that. I would just have to say that I drank 1.5 liters of tea while we were talking, which forces me to go to the restroom. Is 5 minutes of break okay to you?
Yes.
Okay, the show is called No Timeout, not No Break. So we'll just be back in a second, and in 5 minutes we go on how Valorant panned out. Great. So it was taking a little less longer than expected. We have already been back. We have stopped with the matter of fact that you thought, you know, you don't want to be a B-tier player, you want to be a coach, which I think is very good, due to the fact that, you know, people have to accept their fate at one point, right? And I think it's very, very hard to not be officially the best, because this is where I think also that, you know, randomness once more comes into play. To be the best, there's a lot of hard work, yeah. But I think also a lot of right timings, lucky timings, to some degree. But getting back to it, you were starting to coach Valorant, and when you did it the first time, what was your like initial thought? What was your like, oh, this is going to be hard to coach. I don't like this. This is going to be tough. Something like that.
Well, to begin with, I started coaching with my brother. It's pretty embarrassing again.
How?
It's
how did that work?
okay, so it's funny because we do everything together, and then of course we're gonna coach the same team.
Mm-hmm.
It's so obvious, but
I love it.
Yeah, it was good. Like he was actually coach there before me, because I played in the first FABRIKEN lineup in the beginning in the beta, right? But I joined him to coach with him, and it went so well because we work really good together.
Understandably.
That I was like, okay, I want to coach with my brother because we can do such good stuff. It's like there's no conflict, there's no, like, we work like insane hours and we can do that together. Like we can go home to each other and fucking brainstorm something if you want to, right?
Synergy for 26 years.
Yeah, exactly, and I loved it. But we also knew that from FABRIKEN, if FABRIKEN getting signed or people getting signed, but it's probably gonna be hard to stay together because nobody really wants to sign. Back then, nobody wanted to sign two people for coaches or staff. It was almost like not even signing a coach. It was really hard back then. So obviously, like we split up later down the line. But it's I always think it's a joy to coach with him.
Yeah, no, but I mean, this brings me to the point. Like you were then starting to coach, and obviously he went to FPX. You started NiP. But how was it like initially your thought on coaching this game? Like coming from Overwatch, you know, as a CS person, there's 0 abilities. You have 4 grenades, 5 technically speaking, and you work with them. Done. You know, there's a lot of in the game that works via thinking and a second layer of thinking, not the obvious. But in Valorant, things you can do are more superficial to some degree due to the abilities. Like how is that panning out?
I mean, I think I'm gonna sound like a kind of dick, but coming from Overwatch is so much faster and complicated in a way, strategically.
Obviously.
But practicing or watching practice in Valorant is like very easy. You know, the people die, people have clutches. It's like downtime, freeze time. You're dead. Like, oh, nice, and it's like fishing almost. Sit and wait. Overwatch is like constant, like 6 hours of just chaos in your mind. Like
CS players.
It's CS is just so much more calm.
Yeah.
And 6 hours of Valorant CS, it's not the same mental strain as 6 hours of Overwatch, according to me, because I've done both now, so I can compare. And for me, it was easy to coach in the beginning because you have abilities, and I'm used to abilities. I come from playing 1.6 CS:GO. Like I played CS for, I don't know, 10 years, right? So I have that background and I understand it. So for me, it was like, it made sense. It's like both my careers I had before, you brought them together, and then I had trust in Riot Games. I think that's important for me because if I'm with something, like I need to know it's a future, right?
Right.
So everything just made sense to just do this for me. And when I did it, I found this drive again, where when I was coaching, it's not only coaching during practice, but I'm spending tons of time outside of practice doing stuff. And I was like, you know, like I haven't felt this in like 5 years.
Okay.
I have this drive, this like thing, and it's just made me so sure that this is what I want to do and pursue, put all my like life into. Just because it did something inside of me was like, oh, it's just working. You know, you have a new girlfriend, and then the first 2 weeks are amazing.
Amazing, yeah, I guess
yeah.
But then this raises the question: you were still doing your graveyard work, I imagine, at least during the FABRIKEN times. But that was then also something you stopped at one point, wasn't it? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were that convinced in this going to work?
Yeah, 100%. I think we kind of did this in a good way where before Valorant came out, we did a Discord of potential people that was really good in like CS and other esports, and we play like 10 months every day. And those 10 months kind of acted like a scouting ground for who we want to make a team with. And we played like for 3 months before the beta came out as a preparation.
You did that Discord?
Yeah.
Together with?
No, so it was Latex from Rix.gg.
Yeah.
He decided that, because that's who we did the team with. He decided that it would be a really good idea to make a Discord for 10 mans. It was called Valorant Sweden, but Valorant wasn't out for another 3 months or 2 months. And we just played tons of 10 mans in CSGO, just to kind of prepare, you know. So when the beta comes out or the games comes out, we don't start practicing the CS mechanics then, but we're already super prepared and have a team ready, have strats ready, have communication ready. So we started before the beta to kind of plan for it.
But who was in that Discord? Who was in that Discord?
All of the Swedes. That's all of the Swedes except for the guild guys.
I just want to ask, but like then there was, I guess there was Limpone in there. Sure, everybody from Limpone was not in there.
No. So this was.
Say all the Swedes, and then you don't say Limpone.
Yeah. I have to backtrack. All the Swedes that was not currently playing CS actively, because they had their own careers, they're doing their own thing. I think the only one who was playing CS was like Meadow and Shadow joined the 10 mans, if I remember correctly. If I were like safe and I'm really much better than, like, he's so much better than me at CS, why would he play the 10 mans and just destroy us, right? So it didn't make sense for them, I think, to join at all. But it was all the Swedes. There was like nobody of the guild guys in there. But FABRIKEN came from that group at least.
But Zyppan was in FABRIKEN as well, right? Or am I stupid?
Yeah, he was in FABRIKEN, but he comes from
Fortnite.
Yeah, and with Zyppan, like he was in FABRIKEN later on. Like FABRIKEN existed from before beta, right? And then we made a roster change where me and Eric, we felt that Nicola wasn't cutting it, and I asked Zyppan, hey, I think you would be a great fit for the team, and I brought him in and tried him, and he was really good.
But how did you then find someone from Fortnite? Because this is like the thing. CS is the most logical, right? CS, boom, classic. But all those other, Overwatch, fine, abilities. But Fortnite, how?
I played a lot of when I was playing. I played a lot of games with Zyppan and his friends. So I played competitive with Zyppan back in the day. So I knew him from that kind of circle of groups. I think it's the groups of like Noisy, Zyppan, some like Fortnite people. And I played a lot of competitive with them, and I know Zyppan was really, really good. Like when I played with him, I played against him, like destroyed me, right? So when I became a coach, I knew he was like a golden goose or whatever you can call it, right? So I knew I wanted him, but we had a roster, and when someone like we need an upgrade, I so fast at contacting him, like come to the team, you know.
But do you see a major difference between, like a major difference between like CS, Overwatch, and Fortnite players that joined the game?
Yeah, I I think people with CS background is the best at the game.
Understandable.
I just have to be honest.
Mhm.
But I think we've had this for a year now, and people with Overwatch backgrounds kind of have catched up a little bit. And I think give it another year, and it will make zero difference where you're from.
Yeah, sure.
It's just who has like a little head start. Because when I look for a player, I look at like good fundamentals, and CS players who often have good fundamentals of like trading, angles, all of this good stuff, And I don't want to teach someone that from Overwatch if I haven't had a CS background from before.
That is the interesting thing, because there were two other esports which came to my mind which didn't do good. Oh, one did good, but it's a different story. Rainbow Six Siege is something I hardly see. There was the Germans had this VALORANT team, which was the former G2. I know PUBG. Those were G2 PUBG players, which also was a little odd. And then the only one I know, for example, from Battalion, I don't even know if you know what Battalion is.
Yeah, I know.
Is only Aslan, but I think he had the luck of playing with Gob. Otherwise, he would. I could imagine that he wouldn't be the same at this amount of time.
No, we also have like Warface, like a Russian game.
Yeah, those two are Warface.
Chihuahua and JD comes from Warface.
I forgot.
And Shao. So
I looked that up. I asked, which was the crazy part. It's so crazy. Warface, but I think it is also something like just with a classic crosshair and just shooting around, so it makes sense to some degree. But how was it then? Because this is a crucial part then to mention. Your brother got obviously the position at FPX. You got the one at NiP, so proper, reputable organizations. How was that then for your, first of all, family constellation? Because I don't know. I just imagine that you were living still with your mother at that point, because you unfortunately just didn't have any esports jobs at that point in time.
The living situation actually, it was kind of when I was working and when I was playing Overwatch, I was looking for an apartment at the same time. So I actually had gotten an apartment like right before VALORANT came out. This apartment here.
Yeah, right? Obviously.
So, yeah. so I already lived away from home. Eric Dumbros. When I say Eric is Dumbros. He had an apartment, but it was really small, and then he moved home, and then he got to take over the apartment because my mom moved away, and so he's kind of been like in different situations, right? But when we both like joined the pro team now, like it's not a lot that have changed. Like he's still, I think he's looking for a place to live, but right now he's just trying to get a little bit of money to maybe do something in the future. He still pays the rent there, and I pay the rent here. But it's not a lot that changed really. It's it's you don't just do drastic changes unless you.
Brother.
Yeah, unless you can do it. I know people maybe have some more, money from. I don't know, family or whatever they have, and maybe they can move. Oh, I got a pro team. Let's move into the city and live the city life. But we have to be careful, so we don't do anything drastic.
Understandable. No, it's the reasonable choice. But is your brother still living nearby? So like you can visit him?
Yeah, he lives with car from here, maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
So he comes. He's often here when we have off time. I don't know, once every 2 weeks. He comes here and we might have a barbecue or watch movies. Like we try to hang out all of the time. We're still super tight. Like he lives close. We talk about everything and we hang out almost every off day. He comes here and hangs out with me. So.
But how was it then initially? Because you mentioned you did basically everything with your brother, like literally everything. How was it when you just realized that you have to take split ways? Like you mentioned, you were both competitive in sports, which is a good thing, but you started off together. Was it any kind of difficulty not having the possibility, because you're competitors, you cannot share anything, basically?
Yeah. It's so doing it in the beginning, like moving away. I think it was difficult because we actually worked together in Fabriken, and we kind of built up this method of working. So now when we went away, we kind of have to stand on our own legs. Like, obviously, we've done it before. Like, I had a whole pro career in Overwatch myself, obviously. But it was still a little bit scary. Not gonna lie. I think we help each other a lot. Like, let's say, if I'm coaching you, and how should I do this for him? I have an idea, but I might ask him for advice. Like, what do you think? And if his idea is the same as mine, I'm like, okay, great, I have the right idea. Yeah. If it has the difference, we might argue about it and then come up with something new, right? And we always had this thing where it's always better to have two voices than one.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be problems, but in our case, it's always better. But it worked out really good. I think it worked out better than if we were together in the beginning, because if we were together, we would kind of help each other and rely on each other. But right when I joined NiP, I had to do everything on my own, everything with a roster, everything with all the strats, everything, I'm just on my own doing everything. And for him, joining that team, it was like same for him. He has to do everything on his own. And I think doing that, I've learned so much this last year. It's like completely different person from a year ago, and it's the same with him. Like, he's learned so much, and maybe in a few years, if we are together again, I think
would be insane.
It would be a powerhouse now, because all the experience and more experience in the top, like being up there all of the time constantly, it gives a lot, like, knowledge of, we know what it takes to kind of win and be there. And I think if we combine that from, we have two different teams, like Existence, yes, Angel to learn from.
Just wanted to say that, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's so much knowledge. Like, if we in the future, if we brought it back together, I think it would be a banger. Yeah.
It's pretty much open for offers at this point. But regarding that, because I remember, I was initially, I still technically am, but it's just not paying off time-wise. I'm interested in an analyst thing for NiP, which now Menek, I hope is the right way to pronounce his name. He's French, so it could be something crazy different. You were looking for someone who was 24/7 on board, and obviously this makes obviously your role being pretty much the same, if not more. That's the thing I've always asked myself. If you're being in a relationship and living together with someone, and you do, I don't know how many hours he's in front of PC, 8, 9, 10, I guess, something along those lines. Isn't that something that is immense? Isn't that something that is so stressful at the end of the day for both parties? Because it's something I ask myself with pro players the entire time. Those guys marry, they have children. How do they make that work?
It's really tough. I think for any esporter doing this, you have, if you want to be in a relationship, you have to find someone that knows what you're doing the first week, that knows what you sacrifice, and then they have to find that kind of, they have to be okay with it from the beginning. Like, really deep inside, they have to be okay. And I'm lucky enough I found someone that is okay with it and was okay. And we kind of have this, she thinks, okay, she won't do anything that comes in the way of my career, because she knows it means everything for me.
Understandable, yeah.
And you have to find someone like that, or else it's not gonna work. I've missed being a player and a coach. I've missed so many birthdays, so many things, so many important life events for this that I sacrificed. And I'm not gonna stop sacrificing that now, and I'm not gonna do that, especially for something. Obviously relationships are important,
I get you,
but this is also important for me. This is my life, and you need to find someone that is really okay with that, or else it's never gonna work. And I don't know if you have someone, but it's
it's not the same though, because I have the luck that I have like dedicated days, it's difficult. First of all, it's initially difficult for others to understand, and I will always understand that others are like wait, you teach players how to play a video game, or you talk about it, and that's initially obviously super weird. And I fully understand that people find this weird. I'm okay with people accepting that. And yeah, it is difficult from time to time due to the fact that obviously, for example, work times are sometimes a little different, or you're gone the entire day and then you're gone for multiple days.
Yeah.
This is where it's a little bit of an advantage to some degree to be a talent. You do something every day, but if you're not on screen, you can at least say, okay, I'm reviewing the SWAT at this time, and this time I'm free, or something like that. But this is where with professional players, something that I've always, always a special someone, obviously, that understands what you're doing. It's very difficult to find somebody like that initially. And I don't think anyone has to be interested. Like, I don't know if your girlfriend is interested, for example, in like, how did you do? What did you teach them today? Do you think Greece is going to be in the pool? I don't know. For example, I know I don't share that too much due to the fact that this is getting really complicated at one point.
Yeah, I think I always tell players or advice like, get someone that's not involved, because then when you spend time with them, it's a break. Because my whole life is Valorant, my whole life is esports, right? And you really need a break from that, or else you're gonna go insane. And having a girlfriend that doesn't know much about it can be a nice break. But also to contradict that, I think having someone that knows a lot, they can also be a big support for you. Like that, if you lose or you win, they can understand and be there and help you.
But as a human, supportive. Yeah. No.
But I think my girlfriend, knows, she doesn't play the game, but she knows a lot about the esports and competing and all of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, she's a big help with that. But I can also understand where if you have someone that's totally, I don't want to say not interested. Of course, you're interested in what your spouse is doing, right? But if you don't understand it and really don't care and have your own life, it could be a very nice break for you, so you like don't go from working to talking about work after.
But that's something that, for example, I for myself found out that there was in, let's say, 3 months ago, there was me really having a period where I wanted to like grind CS, like literally face it, grinding and deathmatch and such. And I found for myself, I'm not the youngest anymore. I'm not 16 where I have nothing else to do in life, where I'm not having any other interests. Where I found out it's just not fun. I really have no fun anymore in competitive playing with that. Or I do like competitive playing. I'd like to do ranked in Valorant, but it's not like me sitting there 6 hours doing aim labs and Valorant. Is that something you also then enjoy at this point, that you use your mind more than your entire body, if you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's difficult. I think if you grind at CS, you experienced how it feels being kind of a pro player, where
I wasn't good, but
but still, like you even if you have a break an off day, your mind is still there. In a sense, on the grind, on the goal. It's the same for me now, where my normal a normal work week for me, when it's nothing difficult, I work 6 days a week, right? And I have one day off. And I work the entire day basically, and sometimes it happens where I don't have any days off. And for example, now in this time, this off time, you would think, okay, you have off time, you can take a break, like you have a week off. Normally, if I get a week off, it means I work the entire week, because now I have time to work. It's difficult to understand, but like in this esports, if you want to be the best, like even if you have time off, you can't. Your mind is still on it. You always have something to think about. You always have some meeting you have to attend, right? With me, I canceled before and I have to. Yeah. It's so much. Like look at my beard, like look at my eyes, like. Come on, this is the sacrifice you do with this line of work, when it's like competitive, like when earning a living means winning. It means being better than everyone else. It means having darker rings when everybody else could put down more time. It's a relationship killer. It's you can kill your friendship with people, because you do this like obsession. And this is the tough thing with esports, and it's hard for some people to understand that. Unless you understand that you have to do this, you're never gonna be the number one. Like if all you do is like complain and don't want to put down the time and have everything, Like you're never really gonna be winning masters or
Yeah.
winning whatever, right?
But but you know, you at least seemed aware enough that there is a certain sense in breaks, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I think that
of course.
people when I see, you know, sometimes Reddit threads pop up where players say, I'm playing 8 hours every day and I don't see results. I think this is something people regularly underestimate, that there needs to be some sort of balance to everything, because otherwise it's gonna fuck you up. I think this is something that people need to learn. As I see your athletic kind of approach to it, like if you don't do 10, 12 hours, if you don't do more than the others, you have a problem.
Yeah.
But that also counts for this, at least in my eyes.
It's no, it's true what you're saying. It's a whole chapter. I don't want to say chapter in our book what we have, but seeing how the tournament structure is in Valorant, where we played non-stop for like half a year. A big point for me and for the team was recovery and rest. And we don't see it as you can just, let's have a day off on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
That's not enough. I know on Sunday, I know you're gonna play Valorant. I know I'm gonna sit and work on something. I know you. You're not gonna rest on Sunday.
You can't disconnect.
Yeah. So what we do is like we look at, okay, we see rest as a competitive advantage over our opponents.
Yeah.
So it can be, are you better at recovering and resting than the other team? It means we're gonna be better and actually win. So you kind of have to see it. If you want to get through to competitive people, you have to see it. This is the benefit we're gonna get over the enemy team. We're gonna be better at resting. We're gonna rest more efficiently. You know, we might only need a day of rest, but that day you don't even touch the computer. You kind of have to plan it. So that's kind of what we do. We do a lot of like, okay, how do you cover the best? How do you, like, what hours do you play? Are you eating right? Are you going to the gym? Are you training? Taking a walk for recovery? Like, all of this stuff. There's a lot of stuff we do, but it's not in the public, and I'm not gonna go into too much of a detail. But it's recovery is like it's like when you go to the gym. Like you can't just bench press 5 days a week all of the time. Like you're not gonna get bigger pecs. That's obviously.
Yeah.
You're gonna get bigger pecs, but it's not optimal. And it's the same here. Like
overtraining.
Yeah. And you have to recover, or else it's just like you can't get new information in. It's just gonna go in here and out here because you're just in this grind, you know. So I agree with you with that, but I also want to say, unless you're prepared to sacrifice and just work this hard, unless you know that's kind of what it takes, you're never gonna realize what it takes to be the best. It's kind of what I was trying to say.
But do you personally think that then not qualifying for Reiki, for example, is somewhat of a, you know, something that is at the moment possibly very painful, but something that at the end of the day is a sustainable advantage, because you have all those weeks where you officially don't play anything. You know, I don't know when stage 3 probably starts, at least 3 weeks after. End of June, I think it starts. It's good. Like for us, when we played now, like when we played against a guild, we were 3 rounds from qualifying for the eMIL, right? Really close. But we got punished because we actually made it so far that the next qualifier was like 2 days after. Yeah.
So we didn't get any break time, and we kind of got punished for being good at the time, because the further we made it, the less prep time we have.
Yeah.
And because we don't get any advantages from Riot Games, is how the rules are set. We don't get any advantages. The fact that we were like 3 rounds away from qualifying for the eMIL, it kind of destroyed us. Because if we went out in the beginning, we would have like 4 weeks of prep time for the next qualifier, and we'd be stronger. And you saw this, like the teams that actually went through and won everything, it was the teams that always went out in the beginning.
Yeah.
And they had tons of prep time because they always went out right at the beginning. And we always made every qualifier. We always qualified for everything except for like the last minute, last rounds. And I think we had like a day of prac, and the rest was just tournament.
That's
and
fucked up.
Because we don't get an advantage from it, we actually got punished for being good at the time.
Yeah, And now
And
I see what
it's
you mean.
yeah, and it sucked because in reality, then maybe I should have planned where okay, let's just skip this unless we're total confident we're gonna qualify. We're gonna go all out for the last one.
Yeah.
And it's it's I always think like Riot Games are gonna learn from this and they're gonna be better in the future. I know this, right? But it kind of sucked and it kind of drained the life force out of you when you play so much and you're so close, but you don't. You have to start from the beginning again, playing the random 500 top 500 teams.
That's not gonna happen
again.
Though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they learn from they have advanced in the sense that they at least for example for Challengers 2 they let the open qualifiers happen, so I imagine they learned a lot. I know that they're willing to learn, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
I'm very happy with that. Yeah, that's the thing though, because this is where like this off month in CS already once, I think in 2019 the first time happened. This is I think a good thing about VCT is that you, in comparison to CS for example, you don't play ESL Pro League, then you play Flashpoint, and then you play Blast. This constant, where it doesn't build onto each other. It's just about HLTV points, which, here we have a different currency. It is the circuit points, which I like, which makes it so easy.
Yeah.
For example, if you would have won Challengers 1, then you would have obviously been like in comfort. You had like those 2-3 weeks, and the advantage should have been there. I see what you mean.
It's difficult. Like I sure I can be like angry about it, but I know they have to get certain amount of qualifiers in, and they have a timetable, and it's just about the format they chose. They could only do that as much as they could do, right? So I don't blame them. It's just I just want things to be different, but I do appreciate the time we have now. To think about things and do things. It's for a coach, it's a big blessing. Like I always plan like a month or two ahead, like how every week is gonna be, every day is gonna be, all the goals, everything. I plan a lot, so we like when I've done the plan, I know exactly how to schedule the peaks and valleys of our performance. So when we always peak when we play, but during this big tournament that we play now, it's impossible for me to schedule when are we gonna peak, like when are we gonna play good, when we're gonna play bad, and kind of match it, right? It's almost impossible. Like you just have to fucking keep going. So I like the time we have now.
Understandably. But specifically now, this brings me to the point, how fucked up is it to always watch VODs? Because in CS you have this blessing of a demo player. I mean, this is a big blessing. The demo player is, my god. And all the abilities that have been added, and you have to say CS is a lot older than Valorant, so it's not possible. But those third-party programs existing for CS, Jesus, they make life so easy. How annoying is that? Or how much, because for a long time I think anti-strutting is not going to be too much of a big thing due to the fact that you can't even watch the games properly.
It works. I mean, I'm used to it now, so I'm like, okay, this is just how it works. I haven't really thought about it too much, but I work a lot with I have a lot of meetings with Threat, the CS:GO coach. Once every week, I get to see how they work and what they do, and they have so much more tools to do analytical stuff or to coach. We're kind of very behind on this, so it's like a day in my life would like be, unless I could spectate the scrim and record myself. I'm like looking at
it nowadays.
It depends. If it's close to tournament, no, there's no way they allow it, but right now it's like 2 months before we play, or a month and a half, so we can kind of force it if we want to. We can say, hey, we're an IP, let us spectate. And it kind of works, but we would never allow spectators close to a tournament, and only if we're experimenting and we're doing something that's really stupid, we allow specs. So.
Okay, but because I remember very much, I had the honor for one week to always be like the spectating coach if slot for Big, which was a very nice experience to also be in the voice comms. And I knew a lot of teams were always, at least in the beginning stage, like no coach, because they were always like afraid of someone recording their strats, specifically the big team. I get that to some degree. Has that now changed, at least with the coach slot, that people were like, yep, it's okay the entire time?
I think now with the coach slot, I don't know. Coach slot came now when people are in off time, so everyone is just allowing spectators anyways right now. Right now, people don't kind of care. But I think you always have to be careful. Like if I know if I were to play my brother in FPX, man, he would spend a week just looking at all the VODs, all the stats, all the do we like to go B more than A? I know he would put up big playbook against us, right? I would do the same against him. And for those teams, there's no way we're gonna allow them to spectate the whole game, right?
But as coach,
as coach, I think now you would have to, because I think the Riot Games is gonna allow the coach to be in there in the tournament anyways. So yes, you have to allow it, but not spectate everyone like before.
No, absolutely. No, that's logical to me. That's very logical to me. Because
coach spec,
coach spec makes sense because that's the only thing that was always so fucked up in the past, because you could watch it legit all, which then also made the slot so weird at the end of the day. But yeah, getting away from that, because it has been a lot of Valorant. I think the crucial part people need to look out for in the future, at least, is the way that this game is going to be approached. Because the biggest problem for me about Valorant, to finish that one, is I think the viewer experience is super difficult right now. But not because of Riot messing it up. CS is easy. You're dead, bomb placed, bomb boom, done. But with all those abilities in Valorant, I don't see a world where this is becoming easy to understand. And I just don't know how. How do you make Valorant easy to understand to people?
Better UI when spectating. Like the UI we use now, like okay, I'm just gonna be honest. Unless I'm just staring at the minimap, it's really hard to know what's going on. Like
which UI? The VCT or the actual?
Yeah, the VCT. For me, like as a coach and you spectate, if you're coaching, you know, it's you look at the minimap. Like,
of course.
Here's the minimap. Like you look at it, and then you go to the person where stuff might happen, and you look how do they play the situation, or maybe you have a goal in mind. Like I'm gonna help Chihuahua with some stuff today. This what I'm gonna look at. He has a goal he has to achieve. I will look at him more. Stuff like this.
Yeah.
So it's easier from coach perspective. It's actually very easy. This game, I say easy, but it's because it's my life. For me, it's easy. But
of course.
For a spectator, like when I look at the stream, it's harder for me to understand what's going on than if I just look at the player POV, because the UI doesn't make sense for me, and it's difficult. So I think Riot Games could definitely work on the UI to make it easier to understand. Because if I was gonna say it, if I can't as a coach understand the UI and what's going on, how is the average Joe gonna understand? Like they can come because they're sharing for, let's say they're sharing for Liquid. Go Liquid is my team, but they're not really understanding what they're sharing for. And I think it's a lot of that.
This is also difficulty when commentating it. Like you miss so many parts, so many integral parts so easily.
Yeah.
Because you know, the matter you build it up and suddenly something lands. Are you even talking about the right time? Is that the right kind of ability you're talking about? This is so freaking difficult. This is
you just have to make it like something with like the key abilities are more highlighted and big. It's like, I don't know. I think in League of Legends they use an ability, you really see it, you really know where it's the ultimate. But in Valorant you don't really notice it. You don't see it, like the big reveal arrow. When is he using it? Is it being used or whatever? Like, I think obviously we're gonna improve it. It's the first year, you know. Like we said before, first iteration. Well, you can't complain. They have to go through it, right? But I think there's room for improvement.
True. No, I definitely do think so, because specifically it has been all right. I'm very much looking forward to what they do in the future. But the minimap, for example, I think if you could see a lot more things there. But getting away from it, I think the Valorant part has been talked about. You know, I initially trying to promote this podcast as something that hardly talks about Valorant. I obviously fucked it up at that point. Nevertheless, you know, this brings us to a few crucial human questions. I wrote down a good bunch of stuff because I'm always scared of having enough to talk about. At the end of the day, I have enough to talk about. But the first thing would obviously start, because there are two types of people, a good bunch of two types of, there's always this two types of people thing. And I think one type of people is if people share blankets with the other one or they don't. Because I know what I choose.
Share blankets.
Yeah, like you have one big blanket
Mm,
over the bed.
I share.
Really, I can't. Inhuman.
No.
No, not possible. How? If you know, it could be that big. If I pull it, the other one notices, and if the other one notices, and if the other one pulls, I'll notice. Impossible.
Maybe it's because I've lived my life sharing with another person,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe that's how I am. But I'm always like,
there you go.
in life. Let's say if you hang out with friends, and if we're gonna do something, and maybe they don't have money on them right now or whatever. I'm like, I'll do it. You know, let me have it. You know, I value. I value. I'm not a pushover, but I'm kind of a pushover. Where I value my relationship with someone and friendship very high, because I know in esports it's hard to keep friendship and relationships.
True.
I'm very precious of that. Even though I can't spend a lot of time, I don't want to destroy it, so I share a lot of stuff because, yeah, I'm holding on to it tight, and I'm just a sharing person because of background with my brother.
Of course,
we shared everything. So
is it actually? Yeah, that's something I want to know. Does your mother understand esports? I mean, that's maybe a stupid question, but is she like, or who is she rooting for when you play against each other?
She in the beginning she didn't understand, but now when we are kind of better at VALORANT now, more maybe high profile in a way, she started to learn and wanted to understand. And she doesn't understand the game, but she understands the competitive aspect, like winning, losing the tournament. And she always watch all of our games, and she gets so upset if we lose. She can't watch it. She can watch for 5 minutes, when she gets like anxiety and has to turn it off and, like, I don't know, do laundry or something. She gets really stressed. And it's, if we play each other, then
Did you ever
I don't know. We played once off stream, so yeah.
Wait, when did you join as a coach?
It went to 3 maps. NiP versus FPX. We played. I
only find one game.
Yeah, we played this qualifier. No.
The qualifier. Wait, what?
Yeah. We played off stream. We qualified for the playoff. When we played, we lost.
Yeah, I see.
We got an overtime and bind until like 1917 or something against them.
I see.
Yeah.
All right, 1917. Accurate. True.
Yeah, we played decent against them. It's because our playstyles are the same, obviously, same coaches mindset.
You should have put it that way, that if you don't understand the stream HUD, then your mother doesn't. How should my mother understand it?
That's no way. She like, oh, there's some green smoke. What's that? Oh, it's Viper.
Understand? No, that's understandable. No, because the same. She occasionally watches. My mother occasionally watches when I stream something, but she obviously doesn't understand. I'm not mad at her. She's always mixing up what's casting and what's moderating, but it's still fine. That I think it's really nice when your parents support you in that sense, and I think this is a more reoccurring theme for many players. It's really, really nice to see that. It's really amazing to see that, because if this is such a crucial part. I don't know if you watched the player profile of Stewie2K, where he mentioned that his mother never was really, because he has a brother that's studying something important or is somewhat successful in traditional life, you know what I mean? And they never got along, I think. It must be a horrible thing. Really, this is one thing to hardly imagine.
It's difficult in the beginning for everyone. I think it's hard to convince your parents to do esports. I've coached some kids with this and helped the parents, where it's always better as a kid to do your homework, succeed in school, and do esports at the same time. Yeah, because if you can convince your parents, this is a legit thing I want to do, but I will manage my school at the same time, I think any parent would be like, okay, we will let you sit by the computer as much as you want, as long as you get some good grades. So I think that's the secret to anyone. If anyone's listening as a 100%. Kid, you do school and esports at the same time. You can do it. If I can work and do esports, you can do school and esports.
That's a thing that I think is so crucial. I think kids going all in with esports is one of the worst. due to the fact that, you know, if you become a famous footballer, you're going to live your entire life off of that. I agree.
Yeah.
That's possible. But even, you know, if I go to CS, I think there are only a few individuals, a handful of individuals that can live their entire, and specifically their entire life, not just 5 years, 2 years. Maybe Simple can do that, I guess. Maybe Nico from FaZe. But they will, under no circumstance, there will be like a top 20 player living his entire life off of that.
Yeah.
No way. No way.
It's difficult. Like if kids don't see compared to football, like it's so difficult, this esport thing, where you don't see the 99% that failed and that went all in, fuck school, no work, nothing, all in and fail. There's like 99.99% of people actually do that, they fail. I mean, just the top people that actually kind of lucky, they make it. And if you no kid wants to see everyone as fails, no kid will think about it. So that's why it's important to, like, if you gotta teach someone and be an example as a pro player, pro coach, always say, like, hey, succeed in school first, do your homework at least, you know, have a background, have something to stand on, like don't go all in unless, like, I didn't even go all in when I was signed to a pro team in Overwatch, because realistically I can't, like, I'm not gonna get hurt by that, and it's you have to manage it in a good way. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket and then you drop it.
That's advice. That's advice for everything, really. So many things in life. You know, if it comes from finances to what you want to do in life, I think that's crucial. I think many kids underestimate that. But it's so crucial to have always a backup plan. Like, all in is nice and great, and people also, this is why I hate the motto of rise and grind, because I think it leads to the stupidity of repeating one action again and again and again and again that will lead to success, which is not the thing.
But you know what I think? I think you kind of have to work to change the meaning of that expression. Like, all in. I think all in means that you go all in on esport and you do school or whatever you need to do. That's the all in. That's the grind. The grind is not only esports. The grind is actually managing your life and doing full-time esports, and that's harder. Like, this is what I say with esports. Like, let's say you put your heart and soul into esports, and you work at the same time, or you do school at the same time. That is much harder than just doing esports. So 100%. If you want to say let's go all in, you have to go all in to be the best. You have to go all in to be a pro. All in means doing school and esports at the same time. That's what all in should mean. Reality. That's what it means, and that means no friends, no birthdays, nothing. But at least you do the essential to have a life, like school or something. But that is what all in is, basically. It's doing those two things at the same time. And I hate when I say no friends, but it's,
I get what you, limited amount, or someone is understanding. Yeah, no, I get what you mean. That's though, I think, still leads to the point that all in still needs to go a little further, because I think still what kids, and this is why there are so many, and I don't know if I've ruined possible sponsorship opportunities with this, but I genuinely hate esports supplement products. I genuinely do. I don't know if you ever heard about something called, what was it called? Runtime. It was called. Maybe they had it in.
Oh, your mic was changed or muted.
Am I back? Hello?
Oh, now I hear you. No.
You hear me? Wait.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. What the hell happened here? What I wanted to say. So they had this powder, right? They had a powder which you can use. So you put it in a mixer and shake it up, and it should replace a meal. Like, that's what's all wrong about it. This is what's the worst. This is what's exactly wrong about it. I think surely there are supplements, and sports professionals use supplements as well, but nothing in this world replaces a good meal plan. Like, nothing. Nothing replaces that. And nothing replaces physical activity. You know, I don't talk about that you should go 2 hours in the gym every day. I mean, some players can do, but some can't. But you should never underestimate that if you don't stay healthy overall in the entire thing, it's also going to come to your mind at one point.
You're completely right. It's like funny story. When we were playing like really long hours and had like a game at 11, 12,
Yep.
you know, I blurted out, you know, okay, take a break, get something to drink. If you have energy drink, you know, you drink it now. And then Existence was like, Emil, what are you saying?
Yeah.
Energy drinks? Like he's a health freak, right? And it's funny because I think a true esporter, like true all-inner, really works out a lot and cares about his health. Because caring about your health and working out, it makes you better at esports. It makes you better at hitting shots. So a true all-in esporter takes care of themselves, their health, eat healthy, does everything right in their life, like go to a psychiatrist to make sure they're mentally stable.
True.
That's what it means to be all in an esport, because that will increase your performance so good. So it's like if you talk to kids and say, hey, are you all in esports? Yeah, I play 12 hours a day. Okay, are you working out then? Are you eating right? Do you have good grades in school? No. Like you know, I might be overweight and I maybe smoke a lot. But that's not all in esports. That's not wanting to be the best. And it's totally true. And it's also, you don't even have to go to the gym 6 times a week. Like eating healthy and going for a walk every day, that's enough.
True.
That's really good for you. And that's what it is, maximizing your performance. That's what it's all about.
And this is what bothers me to the degree that eating healthy is not, we're not living in a time anymore where it's difficult or too expensive. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think good vegetables and good meat is something that is expensive for the right reasons. I genuinely believe. So getting the cheapest meat is something that surely gives you what you want, but if there are many downsides to it in my eyes, ethically as well as, you know, from a health perspective. But getting away from that, it's not difficult anymore. And I wish that would be something that is promoted. I don't want 5,000 different powders that make my heart go up 200 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
I would like to have a company that will just basically, I don't know if that's a thing in Sweden, but we have by now companies that deliver you a package every week with food in it, like vegetables, meat and such. They deliver that, they bring it to your home, and you have a meal plan for the entire week.
Yeah, I've had that.
Yeah, see, that's something I think that would be great to see investment in esport, because that would be exactly hitting the group.
This is what simple meals that you can cook that are healthy, and it's not like pizza or whatever people always order. It's I think for esports people, there's definitely a market for that. Like something for
100%.
It's because it's crazy. Like a lot of players are younger, and if they don't live at home, like their mom or dad doesn't cook for them, and they always order because they're not used to cooking, or they can't cook, or they don't want to go grocery shopping, right? And I was kind of the same when I was, 18 years old. Now when I'm 26, turning 27, I go grocery shopping, but I'm not a saint. During this time, like, I normally, I want to diet, I work out a lot, but during this time when it's stress, I have pizza, I have bad stuff. It's human, like you're stressed out, eat.
Of course.
But it's more like, if your goal is that you want performance, like actually cooking your own food, it's something else.
It's not that difficult as well. I think
no.
Obviously better food probably makes you happier, but the basics of getting yourself some, I don't know, frozen vegetables, a chicken breast, and some rice. That thing is done in roughly 30 minutes and still very easy. And I find just unfortunate that this is something that is so often underestimated, though at least the really professional orgs pay attention to that. They pay attention to that. I don't know how it's in VALORANT, but in CS, they started really adding more of traditional sports into esports, which I think is good, especially the psychology aspect you've mentioned. Funny why Gambit have that. Gambit do that, which I think makes them so successful for their age, because their average age is 19.4 to be accurate. And their manager is also their psychologist. And I think this is something that must be so helpful. I can only imagine it must be so good to be able to talk to somebody who's specifically competent. You know, you can talk to your mother, but she might be very good at understanding you, but not specifically your issues.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's having someone that knows what you're talking about. It's really important. And I think, like you said, it would be easier if you, let's say, lived in a gaming house or at a boot camp to teach some of the things with food, especially. Like in my experience, like we do a lot of like what you should eat right, and you should go actually not, you know, have some sort of healthy exercise, a lot of stretches, stuff like this. We do that
stretching.
a lot.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah.
That's the I stretch 10 minutes every morning. It's the best thing you could start to do as a routine.
It's really good, but the question is not you have a resources to that, we have it, right? But the question is, how do you make sure that the players do it in a way that's not just like you sound like a dad or a mom?
That's the real issue.
Do that. Yeah. Like, but will they actually do it? Will you have to kind of get into their minds that if you want to be the best team, we do this and we help each other. I think that's the important thing. Is not like what to do, but is, are they actually doing it?
Yeah.
And how do you get them to do it? How do you help them? And that's the difficulty. That's the difficulty of my job, is like making sure people do stuff. Because resources, we have a lot in NiP. We have a lot of resources, good things. But you have to make sure they actually do it.
Use it, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's something where, because you mentioned that existence is somewhat of someone who's aware of his health. I guess as a person they respect in some degree. I guess same was for you. That's something that would pay off, I imagine. Like
you need someone in the team, like a team captain or a coach that actually knows how to do this. Mm-hmm. And if we're ever in a meet each other or whatever in a boot camp or a gaming house that shows how to live a healthy lifestyle, I think it's important. If you have a team of just people that are very, very unhealthy, mm-hmm. nothing's gonna change.
No,
you know?
Absolutely
but you can see this in some pro teams where you have the people who's working out. You have like Simple is very fit. You have Device, insanely fit, right? You have, it's these people who often succeed, you know. And I think it's important to be an example, like Existence. He's a really good example.
Yeah.
Like he's fit, he's take care of himself. He doesn't drink energy drinks. He eats a lot of sushi if he's gonna eat something bad, you know. It's stuff like this, and it has an effect, you know, on people. It's important to be that kind of role model.
The only issue I think is long term is going to be just the financial aspect of it. That's the only worry I have for many out there.
You mean eating sushi every day?
Yeah, eating sushi is obviously something that, you know, you can get on top of your game, I imagine. But no, I mean in general something that has to become affordable. We're getting away because I originally wrote down one of my questions, and it took one of my questions, and it still ended in a way where you know, I drove away 30 minutes. Do you collect anything? There we go.
What do you mean?
Collecting? Like, I don't know, do you collect miniature cars or something like that?
No, I think the only thing I'm collecting is like I love good beer. I love beer, so me and my girlfriend, we order a lot of like very expensive, weird, fine beer, and I like a mission want to try everything. Mm-hmm. So if I'm collecting anything, it's like tasting good beer. Weird, but that's otherwise I don't do anything. Like I'm looking around my apartment. It's like I like doing normal stuff, hanging around, having a barbecue. But otherwise, my life is coaching.
But did, you know, I have to ask this due to my nationality. I'm sure. Did you try some German beer before?
Yeah, I've had some German beer. I had a lot of German beer in Krefeld when I lived with Angry Titans.
Yeah, but that's Coach. That's Coach. That's
Coach. Yeah,
that's bonkers. That's bonkers.
I went to what is it called? I went to Cologne or Köln or whatever you say.
Cologne,
and we went walked in the streets there, and like the what's it called in English? Like the squares or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like they have stalls, right? You can sit outside. Mm-hmm. And we went there. They have little glasses, you know. Like I've never had Kölsch before. I didn't know what it was back then.
Bullshit it is.
And I was like, oh, I have a little glass, and such good beer. The sun was out, very light, and they just came with more glasses. Amazing. I love Kölsch.
No. This is really, really bad. This is really bad. I have to say, the thing about Kölsch is
Gonna hit me with a truth bomb here.
it's very watery.
Yeah, but that's why.
Okay.
Okay, so my big thing is like sour beer, right? I love sour beer. I love very often very strong. Like all the beers I have, it can be very dark, like a stout or something, or it can be like strong sour beer, like with like 9%. And I've had so much of that. Like the finer beers are very strong, that I come to the point now where I can appreciate like a light beer in the summer. Like
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay.
You know, I've had beer since I was younger. I always loved the beer. Like go to like the pub and they brew their own beer for a long time, right? And Kölsch is like the happy break from you drink this heavy 10%, always aged in a barrel for 2 years, right? And I was like, but Kölsch is just like.
Did
nice.
you drink shandy?
Let's go.
Did you ever have a shandy?
No, I don't think so.
Do you know what
I'm not sure. No.
Okay, so use your translator. From. Wait, we'll do it this way. Once more, I drank another liter of tea. So I will once more go to the restroom. You can look it up in the meantime. You viewers can look it up in the meantime. We'll be back. I will take those 5 minutes, and then I come back, and you can, in the meanwhile, order one. See you in a second. Okay, so quickly from our swift and fast break. Yes, a shand is so it's basically a bit of a good bit of lemonade mixed into a classic beer. It's really good. That's something you would like.
I think I've had it in like there's a German beer that's like
Radler.
Lemonade with beer.
Yeah.
I've had, but I didn't know it was a thing. My girlfriend told me now it's a thing. Yeah.
It is a common thing. It's called Radler because it's for cyclists. They drink it. Yeah, that's where it originates from. Yeah, I'm not joking.
Okay.
It's very good. It's very, very good. Going further in my wonderful list I've written. I mean, you know, talking about beer is always, it seems so primitive. Well, except you are having millions of collections of it. If there is like any person in this world, past, like dead, or still present living, you could spend like 24 hours with, who would it be?
Ooh. Oh,
That's a
I think.
difficult
Personal for me, I think people will say, "Oh, I will meet this philosopher or
Yeah.
whatever." Right? I think I would like to meet. I had an older grandpa.
Mhm.
He was 95 or 96 when he died. He died
That's old.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
If I could get 24 hours, it would be with him
Okay.
for sure. He turned 100 this year. He would have.
Whoa.
So.
But
Yeah.
that's very old. Is he like anything connected to him? Is he like a teacher in some degree to you, or?
So so I'm half Russian, right?
Ah,
Um,
okay.
but my Russian side is like non-existent in my life. That's why I've had like a single mom growing up on the Swedish side.
Mhm.
That's why my family is very small, because half of my family technically
It's in Russia.
is
Okay.
over in Russia, right? So growing up, like my dad's male role models was always like my grandpa's, right? So but they're quite old, all of them. So my oldest grandpa, he died 5 years ago, and then my other grandpa died 3 years ago from cancer. So actually, me and Eric are the oldest males in the family, in the whole family, not the closest one. But it's also, me and Eric are like the oldest men, right? So if someone needs something fixing, it's us now. We're like the last frontier, you know, of men in Sweden, at least.
So those were all Swedish grandfathers, I imagine.
Yeah. Like my dad's side, like we have absolutely no contact. So but in everything, like it's me and Eric, right? And I would love to have just like 24 hours with my grandpa. Maybe ask some question about, you know, how it is to be a man taking care of everyone and stuff like this. It would be good to have that again. So it's a difficult situation, but I would love to have that if I got the chance.
So as I just found out, it was 2 hours ago, but as I just found out, is your brother now taking the coach? Is he coaching?
Yeah.
Now? Insane.
I saw.
It is official.
I saw on Twitter.
Yeah,
I saw on Twitter as well. I think he's
sick.
I think he's very, very happy with his work.
And I can understand.
Yeah. So he's been upgraded.
Very good.
I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, very understandably. That's very nice to see. Very, very nice to see. All right. I mean, that's understandable. I like. First of all, I think if Wikipedia listening, they need to update the page of you and your brother with the country, considering that.
I don't. So because I don't know any Russian.
Yeah.
I have never been to Russia. I never consider myself half Russian really, because if you know the culture, you've been there, you speak it, then I can say I'm like Russian. But because I've never had like real contact there ever. Like I would say I'm just Swedish, but obviously I have like a resting criminal face. You know,
great.
look at his eyebrows. You know, so I am half Russian.
Very good. That's something you can make a lot of use of at LAN, I could imagine.
Yeah. Look angry.
Let me see. I mean, I got a lot of things. I think it's always a little bit difficult. So the next one would be like, if you could travel back in time, which period of time would you choose to travel back to?
Ooh. I think I would travel back to ancient Egypt.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to see how you know advanced they really were. Like I have an inkling if I traveled back, you know, it wouldn't be too much of a difference except for like obvious things, right? Yeah. But I just wanted to see how it was because I love history and ancient Egypt, so we'll love to see it.
I think I love medieval times because it's so odd. Imagine that people lived like in big stone castles and houses without electricity and such things. It's odd to imagine. It's super odd to imagine, but
Maybe during the plague would be.
Yeah, that
It's like now
sucks.
with Corona, you know.
Yeah,
It's
sort of, but a lot
same
of
vibe.
different. Yeah, I mean, I think 300 million people or so died. I'm not
Yeah,
quite
okay,
sure.
maybe a little bit
It's a
worse.
little, it's a little different, I would say. It's a little, and you know, the idea of lockdown didn't exist back in the day, so.
Yeah.
Which always brings us to the point regarding lockdown not going out. Do you brush your teeth after or before breakfast?
Before.
That's the only human answer. That's the only logical
Yeah.
answer.
No. Even though it might be better, nobody brushes after breakfast.
Oh, there are a lot of people. I think it's actually more common to do it afterwards than before. I think people do it rather this way. I don't know
People
why.
are psychopaths.
Yeah, I just don't understand because the first thing I do is shower and brush my teeth, and that's the first thing
I mean,
do.
I shower if I have to do something like today,
Mhm.
but if I don't have to do something, I don't shower every day because
Okay.
you know it makes no sense for me.
No,
I
I
don't
get
know.
that. It's also not good for the skin always, except you use the
Yeah.
right kind of shampoo. But it's I don't know. I just it's a ritual. Like the thing with the stretching, it has become a ritual to do it because otherwise it makes you have.
It's important during COVID to have a ritual. I think rituals are really good to have right now, like for sure. I don't have a ritual. I literally wake up, have like 3 cups of coffee, and then
3.
I start working. Yeah,
3 cups.
I drink a lot of coffee. We made a full pot this morning, and it's gone already.
Do you drink
So.
them with milk or sugar or?
No. That's,
Pure.
if you drink it with milk or sugar, it's a bad thing in Sweden.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Why destroy the flavor of coffee? We drink a lot of coffee and strong coffee, but it's why if
Mhm.
it sounds bad, but if you want milk or sugar, why not just have milk or
No, I always
sugar?
only I half coffee, half milk. It doesn't.
I mean,
I don't like that.
it's different. Like I know in Sweden, I think I've worked at like a what's it called, like a really work, you know, as workers, and you have your coffee.
Mhm.
And usually if you're younger and starting off with coffee, like you can have milk and stuff, but if you're advancing up a level, usually you don't have that in your coffee,
Yeah.
Unless you have stomach problems. No, I drink it just completely black,
I mean,
always done. So
I don't like that. I'm honest with you. I can't. I mean, I like espresso, for example. That's nice.
yeah.
But pure
I-
coffee is just not it. It's just
It's-
too bitter in most cases.
yeah, I understand 100%.
Yeah. That's
It's
at least
just,
nice. You are understanding about it.
Yeah, I'm just used to it. It's just I have super strong black coffee, and it's just what I've done. So
But then that's also important to know what's like your favorite meal, because obviously this is then coming into the point, like, is it also need to be something strong there?
favorite meal. Weird thing. I love like it's like hot smoked salmon. So it's not
Yeah.
like cold salmon,
Yeah,
but it's like smoked salmon.
Yeah, I know.
Smoked salmon, some rum. It's not rum sauce. What is it called? Like the fish egg sauce, whatever
Yeah,
it's called. Caviar sauce. I don't know.
Caviar sauce.
And it's a sauce with some caviar in it, right? And some small potatoes.
That's good.
That's my favorite meal.
That speaks for your your taste and your healthiness. I think fish is underrated. I don't know. You know, I don't understand how young people don't like fish. It never gets to me. Like,
I love fish.
Yeah. Okay. You're living at the coast country as well, so I think that works. But you know, I will never like. Also, not liking mushrooms. I also don't understand how people don't like mushrooms.
Oh no, I don't like mushrooms.
I don't get
Here we
that.
go.
Why? It doesn't make sense.
Consistency.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Mushrooms are weird. Like they look weird. Like, have you looked underside of a mushroom?
Yeah, of course.
It looks
I
like,
know.
Looks
I think collecting mushrooms as a kid very often. It's big fun. It's big fun.
I love the taste of mushrooms, but
There you go.
the consistency is difficult for me. I can't do it.
I just read yesterday about a mushroom-based coffee. Funny analogy to your 3 cups a day, which is actually something that should be something very healthy. It's a powder you can also put in your coffee. I don't know. I bought the powder. Let me see. What is it called? It is a specific sort of mushroom. It is called the
mushroom powder you put in coffee. Did you say that?
Yes, you heard me right. Hericium. Erikium, probably in English. So it's like a gram you put in your So listen, yesterday I have this talk with my friends. I have 2 friends, and we always try to introduce each other to new topics to learn something new about the world. And it was about biohacking, which goes the way of trying to advance your mind and your body on a new level or in a different level due to things that are not commonly used or are even going above natural possibilities. So there was this mushroom coffee called Herikium. So there is a coffee which is seemingly very disgusting in taste, but also what people recommend is that you take like 1 gram of it in your coffee in the morning. Take a specific oil called, I think, MHL oil. Is it NHL? Some sort of oil. You put 200. So you have 250 milliliters of coffee. Add a slice of butter. Add a scoop of oil and that powder in it, and it's something that should keep you full till lunchtime.
This is a crime in Sweden.
Maybe
Putting something in your coffee like that. Oh,
maybe ask existence. Maybe he does that. I
don't know. I don't even think he drinks coffee. Like he doesn't take caffeine or anything. He drinks water.
Really?
Like it's yeah.
Okay.
It's I'm a flawed human. I drink a lot of coffee, but I'm starting to think existence is the perfect
human
crafted.
Being.
Yeah.
He also speaks French.
It's I can't compete with him.
No, understandable.
He's a beautiful man as well, so
True.
he has everything going for him.
That's funny. That's something I like so much. When I think JD did an interview with Run It Back, and he said, I think I have the best caller in the world. And I think this is something so, like, also the guys at FPX can be so happy about to play with somebody who's so experienced. Like, big experience. But yeah, I want to get away from VALORANT. You have a cat, right? So my question, what's your favorite animal is not working?
Favorite animals? Well, obvious answer would be cat, but I love... What do I love?
What is
Birds.
Birds?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, very interesting to watch. Like, they're intelligent. They do weird stuff.
What animals are it? Like, what birds? Is it like a pigeon, or is it a raven, or is it a
when I used to live close to the sea, and there used to be a seagull baby that couldn't fly, and it lived outside our. We lived at the ground level, so it just jumped around on the grass outside, and we got to watch it grow up and become bigger and like have its first flight and sailing, and it was so cute. And I think it made me like birds and baby seagulls. We called him like Börje, like we had a name for him.
Börje.
Come every
sounds very Swedish.
Come every morning and be outside and say hello. So.
That's okay. I mean, the thing is, also outside of the window here, there's also a little raven. There's a raven that we feed, basically. Put nuts out, and he's always taking them. He's very much liking that. A different thing that I think I always, you need to see, a thing I like a lot is pretending. So for example, taking different personalities in a social environment, which first of all sounds weird, but it only works with random, so not obviously with friends. If you could find out one secret of this world, what would it be? So you're the only one who's finding it out. You can decide if you share it or not, but there's one thing you can find something about. Like, that's maybe a state secret even.
What would I like to find out? The obvious answer would be like, see if there's Illuminati doing some stuff, you know. I don't know. I would like to find out when really the first civilization of humans were actually, present. When were we actually a civilization? If it was earlier than we thought. It's such a bad answer, but that's what I would like. I would like the truth about human civilization. Like, when were we actually lucid in our thinking and communicating? Like, because people think it's like, okay, not too long ago, but I also want to see when were we actually, maybe it was earlier.
I think it was I had to look up because of the date, but the first one was Mesopotamia, which I was definitely 100% sure it was that. And the oldest findings they had date back to the 11th century before Christ. So that's long.
Yeah, I just wanted to see, like, because who knows? Maybe we're older than what we think. You know, I just want to find out exactly when and how, and it's weird answer, but
no, I get you. No, that's something. I don't know. I always just like to know, state secrets, something that people claim to be an inside job. Which
what would you like to know?
What specifically? So, it's not even about conspiracy theories, because they're always hoax. Conspiracy is always bullshit. Whoever's always coming up with like 9/11 was an inside job or something. Go fuck yourself. But it's difficult.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like always, I think ignorance is bliss sometimes. I think I realize I don't need to know everything, as long as I, sometimes I don't want to know stuff. Even though I said this a couple of days ago, like if you believe in a conspiracy theory, right? What is a win you have? Like if it's not true, you alienate some people and you're paranoid yourself. If it is true, then something bad is true, and you're still suffering. So what is the win?
The win
I'd rather
is to
be ignorant.
make your life easy.
How?
Because
how
people
would you
can
like
believe in
easy?
something. Because people do not believe in the regular stimuli, which maybe just not find a logical explanation. Therefore, they come in with a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine. That's what I believe. That people, the main idea of conspiracy theory is that people just make up stuff. They don't make up stuff because they want to fool so many people. I don't believe they do that. They do it for different reasons, because they don't believe in the reality we know, I guess, to some degree. And therefore, they make up stuff to have a comfortable life.
Yeah.
That's only what I imagine. It's the only thing I imagine.
I don't. I think it's like I don't know. I like being ignorant sometimes. Obviously, I care, but sometimes I just like I like to live my own little bubble. Maybe when when I'm older, move to a little house by a lake in the forest and just do my thing.
Yeah, it's a total opposite. I can't live with not knowing, even though I forget easily what I wanted to know, what I wanted to look up, or such things. But I easily forget. Like I easily. If we just talked about the latest civilization, I had to look it up, and I hope I will read it later to find out more about it. I just can't live with not knowing. At the same time, a really bad reader. Like, I don't know, do you read a lot of books and as someone who has no time?
No, like I think what I'm doing is like I listen to a lot of audiobooks when I go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have a time to listen to like wind down, I do that. So I listen. That's why I'm into the history. I listen to a lot of like the great courses on like ancient Egypt and history and some stuff like this. Is really interesting, just to get something completely different from VALORANT and coaching.
Yeah, understandable.
Is needed.
I think this is very important to always broaden your horizon, because as a kid I was never reading. I think I started, like, of course I'm able to read, but like voluntarily reading books, I think I started a year ago or something. Which is then considerably late. But I don't know, it's the biggest issue I have by now is that, I mean, for you it's mandatory, and for me it's mandatory to some degree as well, but spending so much time in front of a PC is something that's so annoying to me. Because for me, for example, the biggest issue is working at a PC is like that I have 10 million possible distractions, which is obviously coming down to my self-control, but it being called self-control, it is called by myself, which then is, if we would like to cite Freud, decided once more in 3 different positions. And can I control myself? Like, can self control self, or is another self taking over that? This is why I hate being so often on the PC and rather do it over another medium if possible.
Yeah, no, I get you. It's it's the same here. Like if I'm gonna sit down and work on something, it's often like a stream or something. This this here and Twitter and the notifications, and it is very difficult. And also, like, just speaking about computer, and like I'm in my kitchen, right?
Yeah.
So I work in my living room and kitchen. After work as well, I'm here. So everything is kind of jumbled up, like work, living, doing stuff, entertainment is on my computer as well. Like everything is here.
This is
So
why 2
it's
computers would be so good, honestly.
yeah, or having like a work room, but my apartment is quite small, so
Yeah,
not yet. Maybe in the future, but it's really hard setting. This is when I start work. This is when I end work. This is when I'm just gonna do the work.
Yeah.
Now I'm taking a break. It's really difficult right now, especially in COVID. Like if I could go to the gaming rooms or houses and work there,
That
then
would
go
be
back.
probably good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it
would be.
far away, the NiP headquarters?
Yeah, for me it's 5-6 hours with train.
What?
So
Is Sweden that
yeah.
big?
Yeah,
just
I live in
joking.
the far south,
I'm just-
and it's up in the north. So
Crazy. So you're close to Denmark, I imagine.
yeah, 20 minutes with train
Okay, well,
from Denmark. So
maybe
it's right outside my door as well. I can just go to Copenhagen.
maybe if Strahl is open to team, that would be your benefit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But that's the saddest part about, I think, Valorant, is that so many teams do not have incentives to join. Maybe you read that thing with Mad Lions, where they said they need sufficient proof that buying in there is worth it. And I understand why organizations think that, because being in esports that's so young, nobody wants to jump in it. And I understand, because does it pay off at this point for some many? I mean, early starters are beneficial if you have the money.
Yeah. I think starting early is good. Like you build yourself a little fan base as well. But it is a gamble. But I believe in Valorant for sure. It's yeah.
I do as well believe in Valorant, but I think we're just not, obviously, because time is such a valuable thing, we're still not there, right? This is something I very much hope to see in the future, that we get to a point where there isn't, because I don't know much about League of Legends, but I think it seems for me as an outsider that their ecosystem is paying off, that those orgs are in League because the stuff's worth a lot, and I'm just looking forward to that.
I mean, yeah, if Valorant starts some sort of league, like Overwatch League or LCS or whatever, I think it's gonna be easier, because then you have some sort of guarantee that there's gonna be some sort of, I don't know. I get, if I was an org right now and I saw how the VCT was done, it's maybe hard.
Yeah.
Because maybe you don't agree with the format, you agree with blah blah blah. Like, will my team have even exposure, like guaranteed? Well, it's not guaranteed, right? So it's more difficult.
That's the issue.
A league will guarantee exposure, and that's why it's easy to buy into.
I think that, regarding the quality, VCT is on a different level. They're already really, really good.
Yeah.
But, it just leaves me with those worries, because obviously we're starting off a different basis. We're not CS from 10 years ago, where it wasn't that popular. Now you have to increase your development by a different speed. And this is where my worries sort of come in. I don't know if it's going to be successful. I do believe it's going to be successful because it's Riot behind it. But
yeah, I believe it's gonna be very successful. Just from viewership numbers, like with Overwatch, it was so much smaller and still became relatively big.
Yeah.
This is starting off so much bigger in its first year already that I think I would not worry. The only thing I would worry about is giving Europe enough attention, because NA is doing great. Like wow, okay, but Turkey as well, like, amazing. But for Europe, I have to just think about something maybe different to help Europe.
True.
That's what I think.
It's crazy how this thing floors in Turkey, right? This is absolutely crazy. I wouldn't have ever thought that they make it that far, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's in esports, there's hardly anything big coming from that country, right? There's some towers, there's Voxic, and so on. But other than that, nothing. Legit nothing.
Yeah.
That's what's so sad to me, to some degree, that they couldn't do it in the past. And then also, like, how good is Turkey so far in Valorant? Because when I talked to Quash from Oxygen, they just said we just didn't prepare properly. We just didn't be on the meta properly, and we were nervous as hell. And this is where I hope in the future that all this VCT is stopping to be regional, or that at least,
Yeah. I agree with. I think just merge everything together. Like, give us some of the fan base. I think the teams are really good. It's just since we're only having one nationality of players, we're not gonna have as broad of a player pool to choose from and build a good team. So they're kind of in a disadvantage with that.
True.
And also the way they play the game is it's not optimal for how I think the meta is right now. They're very wild and peak and chaos. They like that, right? I think just merge everything. Have the players of Turkey join some European teams and some European teams join some Turkish teams. Just mix it and mix everything together. I think
that would be it.
It will be better.
I think that is also valid. I don't see. I mean, the only issue is I see ping issues. I don't know how good the east of Turkey, for example, is going to perform against a team from the UK, right?
Yeah.
That could be an issue. But other than that, specifically what bothered me to some degree to the regionals is 3 slots to Turkey and 1 to CIS. This is what I found. So this is what didn't make sense to me. What was the logic behind that?
I mean, I think we're going off viewership and exposure with everything.
But
it would make
CIS
sense.
can't be that bad. CIS can't have that bad viewership.
The CS qualification, didn't they have 900 viewers of a stream or something?
Oh, okay, then you're right.
Yeah, I think they had really small viewer base compared to everyone else. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the reason. Banana split.
Well,